I don't think that we can ever have peace with my family unless the truth is out there.
I commit myself to serve you all, King, country, and Commonwealth. God save the King.
The royal family rarely deals in surprises, until now. A sudden announcement sent shockwaves through the palace and beyond, leaving even seasoned royal watchers stunned. But insiders say it was no accident.
We're looking roughly 50 solutions over the next 10 years that can really turn the tide and really change the way we deal and tackle with environmental challenges. Then it would have been a success.
Behind William and Kate's poised smiles lies a calculated plan. This move isn't just about duty, it's about power. And they're done waiting in line.
My brother and I love each other. I love him deeply. There has been a lot of pain between the two of us, especially the last 6 years. None of anything that I've written and anything I've included is ever intended to hurt my family.
William and Kate step forward. It all started with a single line on the royal website. A formal announcement will be made at 6 p.m. No extra details, no hints, nothing else. For a royal family known for careful planning, this was completely unexpected. Usually, the palace gives quiet tips to trusted journalists, but not this time. The silence itself was loud. People knew right away that something serious was happening. The media panicked. Reporters had no answers. Phones were ringing. Theories were flying. Some ideas sounded wild. Others felt too real. Was it a health issue? A sudden exit? Was someone pushed out or stepping up? Nobody knew. And that only made the tension worse.
Have been brought closer because of the circumstances as well. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You are, uniquely bonded because of what we've been through.
Yeah.
Even experienced royal insiders were clueless. There were no planned talking points, no press briefings. If someone had planned this, they had skipped all the normal steps. That's what made it even more alarming. In royal circles, silence like this doesn't just happen. It usually means something big. Then people noticed something else. William and Kate had missed a public event earlier that day. At the time, it didn't seem important. Now, it couldn't be ignored. If this was a message from the king or queen, they would be the ones speaking. But instead, the spotlight moved quietly toward the younger royals. At exactly 6 p.m., the screen lit up. But it wasn't Charles or Camilla. It was William and Kate. No grand background, no throne, no guards. Just the two of them, sitting in what looked like a regular office. And yet, they had the full attention of the country. William spoke first. No royal greetings, no long family history, just strong, clear words. The monarchy is not just a symbol, it's a responsibility. That one sentence hit hard. It wasn't a rebellion, it was a new direction. Kate followed, calm, steady, serious. This isn't about tradition, she said. It's about trust. With those few words, they redefined what royalty could mean.
I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you personally for all the wonderful messages of support and for your understanding whilst I've been recovering from surgery.
There were no signs of King Charles or Queen Camilla behind the scenes. William and Kate stood alone, but they represented something bigger. They weren't asking for loyalty. They were offering honesty. And in a world full of secrets, that felt truly powerful. And then, right after that, came the moment that changed everything. The Diana Initiative. Kate didn't just look back at Princess Diana's legacy, she took it forward. When she announced the Diana Initiative, it didn't feel like just a sweet tribute. It felt like a turning point. This wasn't about flowers left outside Kensington Palace or yearly tributes in August. It was about giving Diana's voice real purpose again, stronger, louder, and lasting. Diana's story had often been softened over the years, made quiet, reshaped, or turned into old memories. But Kate wasn't okay with that. She wanted to bring it back, not with big speeches or empty gestures, but with real action. This time, Diana's legacy wouldn't be remembered. It would be used.
My mother would have known that she'd been deceived. She was failed not just by a rogue reporter, but by leaders at the BBC who looked the other way rather than asking the tough questions.
The Diana Initiative is a global nonprofit built on the very values that made Diana beloved: kindness, honesty, and always putting people first. But this wasn't just another charity with a royal logo. This was a plan. And Kate wasn't just lending her name. She was the driving force behind it. From the start, she made it clear: no red carpets, no staged photo moments. Kate promised she would go to the places that mattered: women's shelters, low-income communities, places where help is needed most. She would sit with survivors, listen to families, and connect with people, not for headlines, but because it was the right thing to do. People saw it right away. This wasn't about looking royal. This was about being useful. It reminded many of how Diana worked, close to the people, hands-on and real. But this time, it came with a bigger reach, more structure, and long-term goals. Kate wasn't stepping into Diana's shoes. She was building her own path, one inspired by Diana, but shaped for today's world. What made it even more powerful? Kate wasn't doing this from the outside like Diana once had. She was doing it from within the royal system. That gave the whole project real strength.
Know that as much as we have now the reign of King Charles and Queen Consort Camilla, the future is William and Kate.
And their children as well.
Diana had used kindness to push back. Kate was using it to lead. Support rolled in fast. Social media lit up with praise, calling Kate the people's queen. But this wasn't just about memories. It was about seeing a future queen step up now, long before the crown touches her head. Still, not everyone was happy. The one person who didn't seem to celebrate it? The Queen Consort. Reaction to the bold initiative. The Diana Initiative didn't just make headlines, it made waves. Around the world, people responded with excitement. Social media lit up with praise, calling Kate the new People's Queen. News outlets didn't crown her with jewels, they crowned her with trust. It felt like a global moment. But inside the palace, it was quiet, too quiet. Not a word from King Charles or Queen Camilla. No praise, no support. The silence said more than any statement could. Behind the scenes, things were tense. King Charles, surprised and caught off guard, asked, "What did they do?" He wasn't angry, just shocked.
I've got some troubling news about England's royal family.
It will no longer be possible for me to give so much of my time and energies to the charities and issues for which I care so deeply.
As he tried to settle into his role as king, attention suddenly shifted away from him. The public wasn't looking at the monarch anymore. They were looking at William and Kate. Their new project didn't just feel fresh. It felt real. It connected with people in a way the usual royal events hadn't in years. Camilla, though, was deeply unsettled. She had worked hard for years to move past the scandals and gain quiet respect. But now, Diana's name was back, and stronger than ever. Kate wasn't trying to attack anyone, but the Diana Initiative brought back memories and reopened old wounds. Some inside the palace started whispering about how Kate had skipped the usual royal process. She hadn't asked for permission. She just went ahead, and that scared them. Camilla wanted the initiative brought under royal control, cleaned up, managed, and softened. But royal advisors warned against it. Trying to take over would only make the palace look bitter and jealous. So instead, the palace did nothing. No posts, no praise, just silence. They hoped it would fade away.
That's Prince Harry back in England after rushing home to see his father, who's battling cancer. As Amber Cogliano reports, many royal watchers are wondering if this could be a step that enables the family to repair some old wounds.
But it didn't. William knew what was happening. He told a close aide, "This isn't a discussion, it's a strategy." He wasn't looking for approval. He was pushing forward with purpose. The tension between Charles and William wasn't public, but it was real. Charles felt the spotlight slipping away. Privately, he admitted, "The spotlight is gone, not in anger, but in sadness." William, meanwhile, felt hurt by his father's silence. He wasn't trying to break the monarchy, he was trying to save it. Tensions rise. At a charity event, Queen Camilla broke from her usual calm when asked about the Diana Initiative. Her response was sharp. "The monarchy has always served with dedication, and we don't need to invoke the past to prove it." The comment quickly made headlines. Many saw it as a dig at the initiative and its use of Princess Diana's name. Within hours, social media exploded, and newspapers ran with it. The tone didn't sit well with the public, and it definitely didn't go unnoticed by Kate. Kate, usually quiet and composed, chose her reply carefully. At a Diana Initiative event later that week, she said, "This work isn't about the past. It's about the future we build together."
From being a vilified royal mistress to the woman who will now shape the future of the monarchy, Camilla Parker Bowles has come a long way in the eyes of her nation and the world.
She didn't name anyone, but her meaning was clear. It wasn't confrontational, but it showed she wasn't backing down either. The exchange led to stories of a royal divide, with tabloids buzzing about tension behind palace walls. Sources close to Camilla said she felt cornered, upset by how the initiative had taken over the royal spotlight. Meanwhile, William was privately frustrated, believing his stepmother had turned their work into a political issue. The palace gave no joint statement, and the silence only made things worse. Without clear support or unity, the press filled the gaps. A few days later, things came to a head at Clarence House. King Charles called a private meeting with William and senior aides. He was upset, asking why he hadn't been fully briefed on the initiative. He called it a breach of protocol, but William didn't budge. "This isn't about protocol, it's about survival," he said. His words revealed the growing gap between the generations. Charles still followed the old ways. William was ready to change them. The meeting ended with no agreement. Charles left the room without another word.
I think there's a sort of sense of both disappointment and exasperation at the palace that the couple feel the need to keep going on about how miserable they were in their royal existence.
Then came the leaks. Reports from Charles's side painted William as impulsive, risking the monarchy's image. William's team responded through friendly reporters, saying Charles was stuck in the past and out of touch. The back and forth made it clear this wasn't just a disagreement. It was a power shift. William told his team to run the initiative without palace control. Charles, in a moment of honesty, told a friend, "I've spent my life preparing for this, and now it's slipping away." A personal argument had become a symbol of something much bigger, the struggle for the monarchy's future. Internal leaks. When the Diana Initiative was first announced, it looked like a turning point for the royal family. Social media lit up with praise. Hashtags like People's Royals and Diana Initiative flooded the internet. Crowds gathered outside Kensington Palace, not in protest, but with flowers, handwritten notes, and hope. It felt like the people finally had a royal family that understood them. But now, some are asking, was this really about change, or was it about power? The initiative promised to carry on Princess Diana's legacy with compassion, transparency, and action. And at first, it looked genuine. Kate visited shelters, and William sat in climate talks, not giving speeches, but listening like everyone else. The public loved it. Donations poured into related charities. Volunteers signed up by the thousands. But behind the scenes, the reaction inside the palace was very different. And William and Kate knew it. They had bypassed the royal system, launching a massive public movement without telling King Charles or Queen Camilla. It wasn't just bold, it was calculated. They knew the palace would be caught off guard, and it was. Suddenly, William and Kate weren't just popular, they were unstoppable.
Both William and I have seen that many young people are struggling to cope with the impact of bullying, bereavement, domestic violence, family breakdown, and more.
The Diana Initiative wasn't just a tribute. It became a weapon in a quiet war for control. Insiders say William and Kate didn't just want to modernize the monarchy, they wanted to remake it in their image. And to do that, they had to push people out. Harry and Meghan were the first. Their voices were too bold, too emotional, too independent. Once they were gone, there was room to build something new. And now, with Charles battling cancer and Camilla clinging to her position, William and Kate are quietly stepping into power. Not by waiting, but by acting. They've made themselves the center of everything. The face of charity, the voice of the people, the future of the crown. But they've also done it on their own terms, ignoring traditions, skipping palace approval, and cutting out anyone who doesn't fit their plan. To the public, it looks like a service. To palace insiders, it's a strategy. They're not just rewriting the monarchy, they're replacing it. Slowly, quietly, and without asking for permission. Prince Harry's reemergence. Prince Harry's support for the Diana Initiative should have been a uniting moment. He called it Mum's Legacy in Action, a heartfelt phrase that quickly made headlines and gave the project even more global attention. But behind the scenes, it hit a nerve with William. According to insiders, the brothers had a tense phone call after Harry's comment. William felt blindsided. He was frustrated that Harry made a public statement without talking to him first. "You can't just jump in now," William reportedly told him, accusing Harry of using the initiative to stay relevant. It wasn't just about the cause. It was about the long, complicated history between them. But Harry didn't back down.
I don't see it as cutting at all. My brother and I love each other. I love him deeply. There has been a lot of pain between the two of us, especially the last 6 years. None of anything that I've written and anything I've included is ever intended to hurt my family.
In an American interview days later, he said, "Diana's work belongs to everyone, not just the palace." It sounded supportive on the surface, but to many, it felt like a clear message. He wasn't going to stay silent just because of royal protocol. The public reaction was split. Some praised Harry for speaking from the heart, calling him genuine and passionate. Others felt he was adding fuel to an already sensitive situation. Memes began flooding the internet, showing quotes from both brothers with captions like "Same mum, different fight." What started as a tribute to Diana was turning into a sibling standoff. The sad part? The real focus The mission of the Diana Initiative was starting to get lost in the noise. Headlines weren't talking about the work anymore. They were zeroing in on the feud. People close to both camps tried to cool things down, but it was clear that the wounds between William and Harry still ran deep. What was meant to be a moment of unity became another reminder of the growing distance between them. For Kate, caught in the middle, it was difficult. She continued with the initiative, staying focused, but the media attention on the brothers' clash made everything harder. Violence brews between the princes. The royal family used to feel like a team. William and Harry were the heart of it, two brothers who stood side by side after their mother, Princess Diana's death. They leaned on each other, and for a while, it looked like they would lead the monarchy into a new modern future together. But behind the smiles and public appearances, something much darker was going on. And now, it's becoming clear. William didn't just rise, he pushed Harry out.
There's a spare in the air, my brother being the heir and me being the spare, and so there has always been this competition between us, weirdly.
Harry's book Spare pulled back the curtain. One story shocked everyone, a physical fight with William. According to Harry, William came to him angry, grabbed him by the collar, ripped his necklace, and threw him to the floor. Harry landed on the dog's bowl, which broke under him, cutting his back. He says William then challenged him to fight back. Harry didn't. William left, only to return later, looking regretful. But by then, the damage was done. That wasn't just a family fight. It was a symbol of something bigger. William wasn't just a frustrated brother. He was a man stepping into power, and he didn't want Harry in the way. According to Harry, the fight started because William was angry about Meghan. He called her difficult, rude, and abrasive, words that echoed the cruel headlines Meghan had been facing for months. Harry saw it clearly. His own family was starting to sound like the press. And it didn't stop there. Harry says palace staff worked against him and Meghan, leaking stories to make them look bad. Meanwhile, William and Kate stayed silent. They didn't defend Harry, they didn't defend Meghan. They just watched as the damage spread.
Those certain members have decided to get into bed with the devil, right? To rehabilitate their image.
Yeah.
But the moment that rehabilitation comes at the detriment of others, me, other members of my family, then that's where I draw the line.
Insiders say William and Kate began slowly clearing their path to the throne. Anyone who didn't fit the image, or who could challenge their influence, was quietly moved aside. And Harry, with his outspoken nature and refusal to play along, became the easiest target. As King Charles battles serious health issues, the spotlight is shifting fast. William and Kate are moving closer to the throne, and their hold on the crown is tightening. But to get there, they've had to clear the way. Meghan was the first to go, then Harry. Now, it's just them. William didn't need to make a public announcement. He just had to stay quiet, play polite, and let the pressure push his brother out. How Kate quietly pushed Meghan out. The royal bridesmaid dress drama may have seemed small at first, just a disagreement between two women over a child's outfit. But now, new information is making people look at it in a very different light. According to royal author Tom Quinn's book, Yes, Ma'am, The Secret Life of Royal Servants, the argument between Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle may have been the starting point of a quiet plan. One where Kate slowly worked to remove Meghan from the royal family's inner circle. The fight took place just days before Meghan and Harry's wedding. Princess Charlotte's bridesmaid dress didn't fit properly. and Kate sent Meghan a message about it. While that doesn't sound like much, insiders say Kate's tone was cold and demanding. Things got tense fast. According to one palace staff member, both women were crying their eyes out. It wasn't just a heated moment, it was emotional and painful for both sides. But here's where things take a darker turn. Instead of clearing the air afterward, Kate stayed silent. She allowed the media to spread the story that Meghan had made her cry. Meghan later shared during her Oprah interview, "It was the other way around. I was the one who cried." But by then, it was too late.
And he's probably spent more time thinking about it. For the rest of us, it's more a question of, okay, we have to shift the way we support.
The public had already picked a side, and Meghan was painted as the villain. Behind the scenes, sources now believe Kate let the negative press grow on purpose. Some even say the story was quietly edited before being leaked, all to make Kate look good and Meghan look bad. It worked. Meghan's image suffered, while Kate's looked more polished than ever. After the dress incident, Meghan's role in the royal family seemed to shrink. She was no longer invited to key events. Staff started treating her with cold politeness, and she often looked alone in photos. Meanwhile, Kate's place in the royal family kept rising. She was praised for her elegance, her poise, and for keeping silent through drama. Some royal watchers believe Kate didn't have to fight openly. She just let things fall into place. She stepped back, stayed quiet, and allowed the headlines to do the work.
That the issues we face in childhood are ones we can cope with and learn from. But for some children, learning to cope with life's challenges can be a struggle.
Meghan came off as emotional and dramatic. Kate looked calm and innocent. But for Meghan, the quiet treatment became unbearable. Isolated and powerless, she and Harry made the decision to walk away. And now, looking back, the dress fight wasn't just about a child's clothing. It may have been the first step in Kate's quiet push to keep Meghan out of the spotlight and out of power. Kate defeats Camilla. It's not just King Charles and Prince William who aren't getting along these days. Things between Kate Middleton and Queen Camilla are also growing tense. While everyone smiles for the cameras, there's a quiet power struggle happening behind palace walls. According to recent reports, Queen Camilla isn't planning to step aside anytime soon. Even though King Charles is fighting cancer and is expected to scale back, Camilla wants to keep her role.
She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
You and your brother both directly asked your dad not to marry Camilla.
Yes.
She loves her responsibilities, a source told Us Weekly. She's always wanted to be queen, and she's not ready to give it up to Kate. For Camilla, this isn't just a royal title. It's something she's fought hard for over many years. And now that she finally has it, she's holding on tightly. But that's where the friction begins. While Camilla wants to stay visible and in charge, William and Kate are quietly planning for what's next. Insiders say that once Charles steps down, William and Kate will likely rethink Camilla's role and may limit it. That idea doesn't sit well with Camilla at all. There's another layer to this. The public still hasn't fully accepted Camilla, even after all these years. Many people still remember how she was once seen as the woman who came between Charles and Princess Diana. That reputation hasn't completely faded, and it still affects how people see her. Camilla does have defenders. Royal expert Angela Levin has said that Camilla helped guide Kate when she first joined the royal family. But others say that this relationship isn't as close as it looks. On the surface, it may seem polite, but behind the scenes, the bond between Camilla and Kate may be more strained than supportive. Author Robert Hardman, in his book Charles, new king, new court. The inside story believes Camilla will stay active, but probably in a reduced role. And that's what really worries her. She sees the changes coming, and she knows Kate and William are behind them. William himself has made it clear that he wants to modernize the monarchy. So while Camilla still wears the crown, it's clear Kate is quietly getting ready to take over. And with every move she makes, she's shaping the future, one that may not have room for Camilla's way of doing things. We hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more amazing stories.